Hey guys, so today's state of the heart is exhaustion. So the card says exhaustion is a state of physical and mental fatigue, signaling that you need rest and recovery. Overworking drains your energy. So listen to your body's needs, and give yourself space to rejuvenate. You will regain your vitality. So, exhaustion, and I don't mean you need to go take a nap. I mean that soul tired, body tired, brain tired, spirit tired kind of exhaustion. The kind where you are technically functioning, but barely. So, let's talk about this. It's the kind of tired where you are answering texts, paying bills, showing up, smiling, cooking dinner, carrying everybody's emotions, and trying to stay strong, trying to stay grateful, trying not to lose your mind in Hobby Lobby. And somewhere in the middle of all that, you realize that you have not actually rested in a very long time. We live in a world that it's supposed to make life easier. We can order food, we can call a ride, we can send money to people, we can look up anything we want to know, and we can buy anything. We can do 10 things at once from our phones. And somehow we are more exhausted than ever. Okay, sorry, the background noise was not letting me concentrate on what I'm trying to say. But we're talking about exhaustion, and convenience, it doesn't necessarily give us peace. It gives us more access. That's just the truth. It gives us more access, more pressure, more noise. Like, I just had to turn that off. That's just too much noise. I'm trying to think. Sometimes we just... So, it also gives us more expectation. People expect more from us. More ways to be available. More ways to perform. And more ways to, compare with each other. More ways to burn ourselves out while calling it productivity. That part is important. So I want to go a little deeper, and because exhaustion, it's not always about being too busy. Sometimes it's psychological, sometimes it's emotional, and sometimes it's the nervous system waving a white flag while you keep telling yourself to push through. Psychology teaches us that our body, it does keep score. Stress, it is not just a thought. Stress, it becomes chemistry. Stress, it actually becomes inflammation. Stress becomes poor sleep. It becomes irritability, bloating, brain fog, anxiety, feeling just flat, feeling numb, feeling overwhelmed, and sometimes feeling like you are doing everything right, but your body, it still looks at you and says, I am in survival mode. Do you notice that? I am not releasing a thing. And I know this because I lived it. And I know some of you have, you know my story. I've said it before, but I have been trail running for years. I mean, since the early 2000s. That's how long. I've done the marathon training. I have run a marathon. I have been the kind of person who could wake up and just go and run 3 miles out of nowhere like it's nothing. So, of course, because I am me, I decided 8 miles. That's the sweet spot. 8 miles. It sounded like a really cute idea. Monday through Friday. Blue Loop, McAllister Park, hills, climbs, lots of sweat, lots of grit, all of it. And let me tell you something. My mind loved it. My mind loved it. But my body was fighting. Like, seriously, like, ma'am, hey. Okay, maybe we are not being chased by wolves. Like, what the heck? I mean, please stop this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, who's chasing us? So I've looked back at all my pictures and videos from, that time, and I can hardly believe how swollen and bloated I looked. My body was holding on to everything. Fluid, stress, probably every emotion I had not processed. And my system, it was not thriving. It was bracing. Because when cortisol stays high, the body, it does not say, oh, you know what? She's trying to be skinny. The body says, we are under some pressure here. Store everything. Hold on to everything. Protect everything. Survival mode. That's what was happening. And that is the psychology of survival. When the nervous system does not feel safe, the body, it does not prioritize beauty. It doesn't prioritize ease, lightness, or flow. It prioritizes protection. Protection. A lot of people are looking in the mirror, just frustrated with themselves. Are you? Are you one of them? When really their body is not betraying them. Their body is trying to save them. And that is why exhaustion matters. That is why overfunctioning matters. That is why constantly being the strong one, the fixer, the rescuer, the giver, the one who keeps going no matter what, it eventually catches up with you. I mean, exhaustion, it's not always from doing too much. Sometimes it's from caring too much. That was never yours to carry in the first place. And we do it. We do. And that is where I want to go today. Seriously. There are things in life that completely drain us beyond time and beyond tasks. People drain us. They really do. You need to figure out who you are around that drains you. There are some people that you are around and they actually give you some energy. They energize you. You confuse self-abandonment with love. That is not a full life. That is a leaking cup. And speaking of a cup, I was when I was thinking of what I was going to talk about exhaustion, I said, let me pick a card. I want to know where this is supposed to be about, or what is this talk supposed to be? Where should it go? I pulled the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups. So the message is not just rest. The message is refill. Refill honestly. Refill wisely. Refill with what is life-giving. Refill with what actually nourishes you. Because your cup should run over. It should. But not with resentment, not with exhaustion, not with obligation, and not with self-sacrifice so extreme that your whole personality becomes who handles everything. While your inner self is face down on the floor asking, I need a snack and a therapist. Your cup, it should run over with peace, with joy. You know what? Let me get that card I picked. So this is the card that came out. Your cup, it should run over. Look at how it's going over. Fallen from it with peace, with joy, with clarity, with reciprocity, and with safety. Do you know what reciprocity is? Because some people, they don't know. Reciprocity is when you give and they give. It's back and forth. It's mutual. It's not one person doing all the work or doing more of the work. I mean, sometimes we do. And things are not always 50-50. Sometimes people have to give more. But when you need it, it's reciprocal. So it's very safe with love that does not cost your nervous system its last freaking nerve. With relationships that do not feel like unpaid internships. With purpose that feeds you back. That's the difference. A full cup is beautiful. A drained person performing fullness, that's not the same thing. And I think a lot of us were taught to clap for the wrong things, to admire burnout, to praise self-neglect, and to call women strong when they are just silently drowning, to glorify hustle, to glorify being everything to everyone, to act like collapsing only counts if you do it gracefully. No. Sometimes the holiest thing we can do is sit down. Sometimes the strongest thing we can do is say, that's too much. And sometimes healing, it looks like pushing. No, it doesn't. It looks less like pushing, right? And maybe more like pausing. So, even though we may think what we think, we got to change our own mind, our own perceptive. As I said yesterday, that was the card. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. So if your body's been talking to you, listen. If your face looks tired, listen. If your joy is gone, listen. If your patience is gone, listen. And if you keep snapping, yelling, swelling, spiraling, numbing, avoiding, overeating, overdrinking, oversleeping, or even feeling nothing at all, listen. Your body, it's not being dramatic. Your body is giving a testimony. Find out what is draining your essence. Find out what empties you. And find out what keeps your nervous system on edge. Find out what makes you feel like you have to disappear just to keep the peace. And then you need to be brave enough to admit this truth. Everything in your life is not meant to stay just because it's familiar. Some things they're not responsibilities. They are slow leaks. And the Ace of Cups reminds us that you are allowed to have a life that feels good. You are allowed to be full. You're allowed to enjoy yourself. You're allowed to choose what nourishes you. And you are allowed to stop glorifying struggle like it's your personality. Because the cup that runs over with love, health, peace, joy, truth, and reciprocal connection, that is sacred. A cup that runs over with martyrdom, people-pleasing, and chronic stress, that is a cry for help with good lighting. So, today, check your cup. Not the one you show people. The real one. What's in it? What is draining it? What have you been calling normal that is actually exhausting to your spirit? And that answer, it might change everything. Probably will.